They are an OTCQB company trading under the ticker symbol BIXT. The company is a clinical stage biotech with 3 revolutionary platform technologies that were quickly developed using the power of AI. They have a broad spectrum oral antiviral drug that recently completed clinical trials and achieved 100% viral reduction in 7 days, a feat only accomplished by one other drug in the past decade. They have a carbohydrate drug that not only neutralizes COVID-19, but also neutralizes influenza and RSV. They're currently looking to find a collaboration partner for their broad spectrum antiviral for an FDA trial. And they have a second platform drug, an oxygenation molecule being developed to treat stroke. And its development is supported by an FDA-approved device that detects local tissue oxygenation. Due to the molecule's small size, it has the ability to carry oxygen into areas of poor circulation. The company has a third platform technology that's capable of preventing cancer metastasis. We have a corporate update today from the Chief Communications Officer, Mike Sheikh. Welcome back to the conference, Mike. It's been a couple of months since we last saw you.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, well, let's start off with a quick overview of the company for our new investors joining the conference.
Bioxytran is a clinical stage biotech company, and we have 3 platform technologies. The first is we have a bunch of antivirals. Then we have an oxygenation molecule. Now that's for early stroke treatment, and a cancer metastasis drug that prevents tumors from spreading. Now, the commonality of these 3 platform technologies is they're all carbohydrate drugs. Now, the most advanced of our carbohydrate drugs is prolactin M. It's a broad spectrum antiviral with an open US IND right now. Now, the big takeaway is if our drugs come to market, it's going to disrupt the status quo. While most companies treat the side effects of a disease, our drugs are designed to treat the root cause.
Thank you for that overview, Mike. And I love how you got to the root of the matter. Why don't we start off with your press release about the completion of your dose escalation trial? It looks like you completed enrollment and the company's in the process of getting the data ready for a top-line readout. So what can investors expect in the readout?
Well, we don't have the readout yet. We do expect it before year end. And the truth is, I was hoping to come to this conference and talk about the data and give, but what I'm going to have to do is is try to give you a sense of how close we are to getting it. So our CRO indicated that the data was really good, and they fully expect us to be able to apply for a phase 3 in short order. So that was a really good update that we got. And it's important that I note that safety issues really aren't prevalent, and none have been prevalent in the past 2 clinical trials, nor do we think they're going to be in future clinical trials that we do. And speaking of future clinical trials, our phase 3 trial design is going to be optimized for the Indian market to get quick results. Now, what some of you may not have realized, what took us so long, is that we excluded people with underlying medical conditions from this dose optimization trial. And that slowed recruitment considerably. We're not going to make the same mistake. And the idea is that we should do an all-comers trial and go after people to treat upper respiratory tract infections. So we're going to do an upper respiratory tract trial that's going to include influenza, RSV, and COVID-19. It's basically an all-comers trial.
And I also noticed there was a press release about a research report. So where can investors view this report? And can you give us a high-level overview of it?
Okay. We put all our research reports on the website. So go to the Investors section tab and then click the research. And then what we're gonna see is a 29-page in-depth report. I mean, this thing has everything: the pro forma analysis, the competition, the IP, review the platform technologies. But just keep in mind that this is written not for retail audience, it's written for the institutional investor that we hope to eventually get. Now, in terms of the highlights, it really highlights the broad potential of our drug to treat either a pandemic or the common cold. The other thing that was mentioned is our potential to treat stroke. The thing that was left out of the report that we noticed was there was no mention about our cancer metastasis platform. But the big takeaway is each platform is designed to solve problems in diseases with multi-billion-dollar opportunities.
Can you tell me a little bit more about your stroke drug, Mike?
Sure, but here's the thing. Before I tell you about the stroke drug, I kind of have to set the stage. You need to understand that what the real problem is when it comes to stroke. See, there's two types of strokes. One with a clot, and one where the blood vessel bursts and leaks into the brain. Now, the standard treatment for a stroke with a clot is TPA. And TPA basically blasts a clot apart and restores blood flow and oxygen to the part of the brain that was just blocked. Now, most strokes are treated this way because 87% are the clot type, which means 13% are the hemorrhage type. If TPA is given to stroke patients with a hemorrhage, it's likely to kill them in about 6 hours. Since paramedics don't want to kill their patients, or doctors don't want to kill their patients, they basically need to wait for the imaging results to see what type of stroke it is first before they do any sort of treatment. Now, the average time it takes from a stroke onset until the TPA is about 2.5 hours. Now, during this time, your brain is basically holding its breath, and that lack of oxygen is going to cause some brain tissue to die. Now, what Bioxytran did is we came up with a revolutionary idea. When paramedics see the patient and they arrive and they say, oh, yeah, you got a stroke, why not simply infuse these stroke patients with their oxygen carrier? The stroke drug is thousands of times smaller than a blood cell, can basically easily pass through these clots. The oxygen carrier is expected to help the stroke patient's symptoms go away and acts as an oxygen bridge until they get the right treatment. Now, when you think of the market size, just imagine this drug in every single ambulance, in every single first responders vehicle. That is a huge untapped market and bigger than the existing TPA market, which, by the way, is not that small, with 6 to 7 billion annually. Now, the biggest cost for stroke patients, though, is basically the rehab and the caregivers. Now, this drug is capable of shortening the amount of time the brain basically goes without oxygen by providing that oxygen bridge, while also reducing the amount of brain damage. In essence, it prevents all the bad things we know about stroke from happening.
So are you still looking to partner? And what progress have you made there?
You know, we are ready to partner, but we felt that, you know, you only get one chance to make a first impression, and we want it to be a good one, which is why we're waiting for a top-line data readout. See, we've, over the course of the past year, made a lot of inroads. We know which farmers we want to pitch, and we basically want to fill our decks with the best, freshest data. We also have a new angle with regard to partnership that showcases our cancer metastasis platform. And we kind of want to give that a spin at the JP Morgan conference, which is basically coming up in about a month. And what my goal is to get some appointments with some of the top cancer immunotherapy companies. Now, we need to discuss the idea of using our drug in combination with their drug in order to dramatically boost response rate of their immunotherapy drugs. Now, we're confident we can neutralize the factor that's basically killing the performance of their immunotherapy drugs. We've developed a galectin blocker, and galectins are huge factors behind the low response rates many, if not all, immune checkpoint inhibitors have.
So many investors wanted to know about your collaboration with the University of Georgia for bird flu. So did you get the grant?
You know, the University of Georgia has not made a formal announcement, but it's kind of out there in the public that they're the front runners on a number of bird flu grants. And, you know, you can see that, check the message boards. Now, one of the message boards is basically referencing testing. One of the ones that they won was for testing of antivirals. But look, in order for the University of Georgia to make an announcement, they have to have the money sitting in their bank account. and they have to know the dollar amount of the award. Now, the other thing I need to do is I need to caution investors and set expectations, because BIXT is a drug developer for human clinical trials, not animals. The idea behind treating birds with bird flu is to take a broad spectrum human antiviral and see if we can adapt it for the chicken population. Now, realize chickens, they're a lot different than humans. So, it's unknown how they're going to metabolize the molecule or the best method of administration. Bioxytran isn't paying to do this research, which is a bonus. And if our molecule is chosen, fantastic. We hope the world-renowned expert, UGA, is going to figure out how to test the molecule the best. So stay tuned, but keep in mind that collaborations like this get us exposure, and it's just a matter of time before other universities will want to experiment with our antiviral as well.
Perfect. Well, thank you, Mike, for this very thorough update. Congratulations on the progress, and we'll see you in 2026.
Thank you.